War is hell, but not so much to the staff of the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. 2 new surgeons have arrived near the front lines of the Korean War in 1951 to raise their own hell to distract themselves from the horrors of war. Join Wes and Steve as they get their critic scrubs ready and operate on the 1970 Robert Altman smash hit war comedy, MASH. And now it's time for an all-new episode of View the Right Thing.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of
welcome.
View the Right Thing. Oh, I like this. Steve he's given up.
I didn't step on it this time in honor of the late Bill Nunn.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, you know what? We lost the man who played Radio Raheem. An important part of the very movie that we are named after. We'll View the Right Thing.
Yep.
Rest in peace, sir.
Indeed, indeed. Sad.
Very sad. Very sad. 2016, man.
Yeah.
It's taking everybody.
Yeah. Bowie.
It's like if anybody was cool, this year is just gunning for him. That Grim Reaper's out there. Like,
I feel like it's every year, but people are always like, man, can you believe 2015?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I remember, 2009 was when we really had the first, summer of death, where it just seemed like so many celebrities were just dropping like flies. But also, I mean, is a big part of it just more to do with social media and the fact that we're now just getting the news immediately, like seconds after it happens?
Yeah, maybe.
That's probably a big part of it.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, doesn't make it any less tragic, that's for sure.
Yeah. How have you been these last couple weeks?
Talk about happier things. How have I been these last couple weeks? I guess I've been good. We went to Disneyland. I've been auditioning like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm on Big Thunder Mountain, it's pretty much a good week, you know what I mean?
And movie-wise, we saw a little sneak peek of Doctor Strange.
We did.
In 3D.
That's true.
Listeners.
I dozed off during the last minute or so.
Yeah, Steve.
That's not the preview's fault. That's the fault of, I've been marching around Disneyland since, 9 a.m.?
Yeah, we were all tired to start
nice,
with.
Cool, dark room. I dozed off.
It was nice having the air conditioning.
What I saw looked really cool.
So I'm going to tell you, listeners, viewsters, see it in 3D.
Yeah.
That's my. I mean, I feel like it's probably the best 3D I've ever seen.
Cool. It
was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a great judge of 3D because I didn't have my corrective lenses on.
Oh.
And so I wonder if that might have had an effect on it.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at it and I was like, all right, cool, but I don't know if I can really judge what.
Man, there was some
better
crazy stuff. Even some stuff that they've shown in trailers, like the whole thing with the
like when he gets smacked out of his own body.
That and more so I'm thinking when the world sort of folds in on itself.
Oh yeah.
That stuff looked incredible in 3D.
Pretty cool.
And I feel like I've seen 3D previews for it and it didn't look that cool. So, yeah.
Doctor Strange, when does it open?
November something.
November's going to be here all too soon, my friend.
Early November.
Oh, good. I mean, if we blink enough, it'll be early November.
Yep.
Time is flying.
Yeah.
This year, that tells you. Did you see anything new in theaters?
I saw Miss Peregrine.
Miss Peregrine's what now? School for Peculiar...
Home for Peculiar Children, I think.
Home for Peculiar Children. Steampunk X-Men. If you can call it steampunk. Maybe
No, it's not really steampunk.
Maybe it's more like
it's just
Victorian era X-Men.
No, it's not Victorian either. It's like 1940 something.
World War II era
1943, X-Men. I think, is when it takes place.
Mm-hmm. Where the only bad guy is the black guy, Miss Peregrine's. That's getting a lot of heat.
Yeah.
They're taking a lot of heat for that in that movie.
I saw that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I don't know if it didn't really stick out that noticeably to me, and I'm saying this, of course, as a white guy, but I generally am pretty sensitive and attuned to these things.
Yeah.
It didn't feel egregious to me. It probably would have been good if one of the kids in the home, was of a different ethnicity besides white.
Yeah.
Everybody else was white.
But on the other side, they are talking about, 1940s England, right?
Yeah.
So there is that.
And they did make a change where Allison Janney is in the movie, and in the book, that character is played by a man, or as a man.
Oh, all right.
So, they made some changes, but
Yeah.
I don't. It's weird. I enjoy watching Eva Green.
Yeah.
Because she's a little nutty.
Sure.
But man, I just don't think she's that good of an actress.
You said it, not me.
Again, she's fun, but
Did she keep her clothes on in this movie?
she keeps her clothes on in this one.
Okay. I was wondering. I just watched Sin City: A Dame to Kill For on Netflix not too long ago.
Yeah.
She spends a lot of time undressed.
Yeah, that and that's the sequel to 300,
Oh,
The Rise of an Empire.
Ugh.
So other than that, and I actually kind of think Samuel L. Jackson was maybe miscast in the sense that, like, I don't know if he was really. It's just overacting. It's just a little too over the top for me.
Huh.
But the kids were all really good in it. They switched. The kids have different powers.
Yeah.
So they switched two of the kids' powers. So
Strange. So, like, Ricky's got Iceman powers, but Johnny's got Ice Woman powers?
Well, so, like, there's a character who has fire powers.
Yeah.
And then there's a character who levitates.
Oh.
Or not levitates. She's got a thing with air, and so she has to keep she'll float away if you don't keep her tethered, basically.
Wow.
And they switch them around, which is interesting because that's the one of them is the main love interest of the story.
Huh.
So it's kind of interesting to see them switch those. And then they gave her an extra ability as well.
Ooh.
But it's got the kid from what's that space movie?
There's a lot of space movies.
With a writer that got some heat thrown at him.
That's all of 2016, my friend.
Maybe Orson Scott Card.
Orson Scott Card. Oh, you're talking about Ender's Game.
Ender's Game. The kid from Ender's Game
Okay.
is the lead in this. Chris O'Dowd is in it.
Oh, cool.
And he does an American accent.
Oh, yeah?
And it's totally bizarre.
I met him one day.
It changes the register of his voice.
Yeah.
Not just the way he says words. So I thought that was interesting. You met Chris O'Dowd, huh?
I did. At a Sea Parks. No, I didn't meet him at a Sea Parks.
Missy Joe's.
IT fans. What's that?
Missy Joe's.
Missy Joe's. IT Crowd fans will get that one. Do you watch IT Crowd?
I love IT Crowd.
Okay, then you get the Sea Parks reference.
Yeah.
But one day, this was before Bridesmaids,
Mm-hmm.
but after I had watched all of IT Crowd, just hunting it down on the internet
Mm-hmm.
years ago, and right before Bridesmaids, I was at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater,
Mm-hmm.
and it was for the Ass Cat show, and you know how sometimes they let people sit cross-legged on the stage when they have too many people. So he was sitting right in front of me. I had no idea it was him.
Yeah.
And Matt Besser of the UCB, one of the hosts of the show, he was kind of breaking his balls about how tall he was and how he had to be stuck sitting on the floor and all that. And it was a warm little fun kind of hey gentle ribbing thing. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
And then when he stands up at the end of the show and I'm still in my seat, he stands up and sort of turns to leave the stage, and I look up and it's Chris O'Dowd.
That's awesome.
Roy from the IT Crowd, which I just binge watched.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy shnikes. So then we got separated in the crowd, but then when I was out on the sidewalk, he wound up walking past me, and I was like, I gotta say, I love the IT Crowd. I just binge watched the whole thing. You're great in it. And he said, oh, you're very sweet. Thanks. And just went about his evening. And I was like, that's enough.
That's awesome.
Chris O'Dowd, A+ guy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Neat.
Speaking of Samuel L. Jackson as
Yeah.
a villain, I watched a movie where he plays a hero sidekick.
Yeah. What movie was that?
Currently in some theaters, The Legend of Tarzan, starring
the
younger Sarsgaard. Not Peter Sarsgaard. No, this is Skarsgård.
It's a Skarsgård. It's I don't remember.
Stellan Skarsgård is his dad.
Is it
Alexander Skarsgård, right?
Alexander? That sounds right.
Pretend
He's from
I'm
True Blood.
Yes, from True Blood. Yes, he
Love
was
that guy on True
Eric?
Blood, at least.
Yeah, and I mean he was decent in this. The movie, it's a kind of a strange experience. One thing I do like about it was instead of just being, hey, you know the story of Tarzan? Here it is again. This movie starts with Tarzan is already a grown man who's gone back to England and already been civilized.
Yeah.
And now they're learning of this new threat in Africa. These guys, are trying to take over this land so they can get a hold of this diamond mine. And basically this chief of this tribe that lives on that land, he's a real tough guy. They're fierce warriors. They're giving the white guys a hard time getting to these diamonds. But he's like, if you bring me Tarzan, you can have whatever you want. So
so you can find out why he wants Tarzan.
Yeah, so basically it's like King Leopold of Belgium is sending his armies down to get these diamonds. What's his name? Christoph Waltz.
I like him too.
Yeah, he plays this like emissary for him.
It sounds like a good cast.
It's a pretty cool cast. Yeah, we got Waltz. We got Samuel L. Jackson. We got Skarsgård.
Who's the girl?
Margot
Robbie, is that the girl?
Yeah.
Hey, she's pretty.
She's beautiful. I think she does fine work. You're going to complain about Harley Quinn, which is
I haven't even seen that.
One of the cajillion things to complain about in that movie. But so what happens is Samuel L. Jackson hears about what's going on, and he's like, "Hey, man, like it's 1880-ish something, You're the Lord of Greystoke. People are going to listen to you if you say there's a problem.
Don't give too much away. I haven't seen it.
I'm not. This is all just the beginning. He's like, I'm a black guy from America. Nobody wants to listen to me about this problem, but this is where you grew up, bro. You need to get down there, and we need to fight this problem." And so, Tarzan's like, "You're right," and then they go off on this grand adventure. Cool jumping off point, really cool. I really liked it, and they still showed a lot of cool stuff about him being a kid, origin stuff peppered in. But the movie was only 90 minutes, and it felt like 3 hours.
That's not good.
I don't understand how that happened.
Do you think that if you'd seen it in 3D, would that have helped?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've gone to see movies in 3D and then in 2D or vice versa.
Yeah.
And I've never really gotten much of a difference. Like, if the story's there, it's good.
Yeah.
And this was, like, pretty cool and looked pretty cool. And there was, Tarzan's ape family. There were some breed of gorilla that's, like, even more gigantic than gorillas. They were awesome looking. All the animals looked real cool and stuff. But there was just something weird about it where, I checked my watch thinking we must be an hour in. And we were 20 minutes in, and I just didn't understand that at all.
Pacing issues, huh?
Very, very strange pacing issues. Could have been because it was, 10 o'clock at night. Who knows? I don't know what. But It felt so long, and it was only an hour and a half. Very strange. Very, very strange. Been watching Luke Cage. You been watching Luke Cage?
Yeah, I'm 3 episodes away from finishing.
Ooh, I'm about to start episode 9. Eventually.
Yeah. By the next time we podcast, I'll have definitely finished it.
I better have. See, a buddy of mine is like, let's watch the last few together. And I'm like, okay, we can do that. I usually don't like doing that, but we can do that. You know how many episodes he's watched?
2.
0.
Oh, that's not good.
So he's about to go on vacation. I said, you better watch Luke Cage every night before you go to bed on vacation, pal.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I'm enjoying it a lot.
I'm watching it with our friend Daniel Weiss.
Who once did an episode of this very show.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Luke Cage. There was something else I saw in the theater. Oh, I saw the new Nicolas Cage movie, directed and written by Paul Schrader.
Yeah,
written by.
What's that called?
It's called Dog Eat Dog. I got to go to the premiere of it at the Egyptian on a total whim. Wound up in there. Paul Schrader, Nicolas Cage did a Q&A, and then they showed Taxi Driver after that.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool. Fun movie. Kind of a little bit out of the Pulp Fiction-y kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Nicolas Cage and 2 other guys who do great work, and I won't spoil it for you because it's kind of a nice surprise when you find out who they are. And they're this team of just ne'er-do-well, criminals for hire. If it'll get them cash, they'll do it. And they get into a scam that just keeps unraveling and going comedically and violently wrong.
All right.
Dog Eat Dog. Directed by Paul Schrader. Pretty fun movie.
Well, all right.
Pretty
Sounds
gory
good.
at times, but pretty fun.
I want to throw an idea out to you because I know our show is constantly evolving and changing.
Well, sure. As Rush said, changes aren't permanent, but change is.
Okay. If you say so.
Words of wisdom from Rush.
They did that Tom Sawyer song.
That's the exact song that line is.
Oh,
from.
is that okay?
Yeah.
See, you know me and music. It's not.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's why me and music.
So, what do you think about doing more general movie type things?
I like that you assume I think at all.
Yeah.
General movie type things?
Rather than like going super crazy in depth every single scene.
Sure.
We just
you mean about how like we're about to talk about MASH and I have 0 notes?
Yeah, even that too. No, we'll talk a lot of trivia, and we'll talk about how we felt about the film and the different scenes that we liked, but maybe add in a little bit more, maybe more movies and things like that.
More movies?
Yeah, like we'll go see a movie in the theater or something.
Well, I mean, I like that idea.
Let's see if we can make it happen, maybe.
We could try. See, the thing about that is seeing movies in the theaters costs time and money.
That's true.
Right now, I'm pretty limited on both.
Maybe we could do like really recent Blu-rays even.
Something like that could work.
We could do a mixture of things.
Mixing up.
Viewsters, let us know how you feel about this.
Yeah, tweet us.
So I'm going to pitch something to you because it's a special month.
You pitch, I'll catch.
Oh,
I was making a baseball metaphor.
so it's a special month, right?
October.
Yeah, what's that mean? You don't have a mic near your mouth.
Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween. Which means?
Horror movie.
Yeah, so we have a separate bucket just for this.
I brought a DVD today.
You did not.
I did.
What is it?
Well, let's finish this story, and I'll tell you what I
Okay.
brought.
So what I was going to suggest was maybe we watch a couple of movies for the next podcast.
Yeah.
Because this episode's coming out in October, and it's not horror at all.
That's true. Well,
I mean, it's
it deals with
satire
the
about
horrors
horror.
of war.
It's a satire of that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a horror movie.
So maybe we watch a couple horror films
Yeah.
for the next episode. We'll draw a couple out of the bucket and see how it goes from there. Sound good?
Of course.
All right, cool.
I like watching scary movies.
Tell me about this DVD that you brought.
Well, as you know,
It's the first I'm hearing of this.
America is in the grips of a strange... What could you call it?
Nightmare?
Nightmare, but almost like a prank. It's in the grips of a strange prank.
Yeah.
And all these people are reporting all these sightings of weirdos just walking around dressed as clowns.
See, I thought you were going to talk about Donald Trump.
No, that's a nightmare as well.
That's what I was referencing.
The clown thing is just kind of a prank. Now, I've seen some new footage of people actually stumbling upon these clowns. I saw a guy getting chased across a weird bridge in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And he was saying, he's got a knife, he's got a knife. I didn't see a knife in the clown's hand, but I also barely saw the clown at all. I mean, I could see, hey, that's clearly a clown. Could have been staged.
Yeah.
Anything, you know? Very, very strange phenomenon going on across America. I think these guys in the clown costumes need to cut the S because it's a real good way to get shot.
Yep.
I did see a clip of a guy just walking into McDonald's with a clown mask on and a hoodie over it. And he just walks in and he's just kind of lurking and staring around. And some dude just punched him right in the face and knocked him out. And my pee probably popped really loud.
That's all right.
But, yeah, so these clown guys, like, knock it off. You're asking for a bullet, I hate to say. And, you know, that doesn't mean anybody that shoots you is right to do it. But that's how stupid Americans can be with all our guns. So cut it out, clown guys. So, in honor of that, and if the bucket plays along, because this movie is in the bucket.
It is. What is it?
Shakes the Clown.
Shakes the Clown.
Starring and directed by Bobcat Goldthwait.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
We're not drawing out of the regular bucket.
I know.
We're drawing out of the
anyway,
horror.
just in case.
I know, I'm just letting you know the bucket won't cooperate because we were drawing out a different bucket.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I don't know if you understand this, Wes. It's been called the Citizen Kane of alcoholic birthday clown movies.
It's okay. I'm really excited.
Shakes the Clown, ladies and gentlemen. One of my favorites.
Yes. The only reason I want to see it is because it's one of your favorites.
And because we can talk about the clown problem in America.
Okay.
I kind of want to see one of these guys.
Yeah, I would too.
And see if he's really got a knife. Because every video, somebody's like, he's got a knife, he's got a knife. And you never see the knife. I've never seen the knife in these videos.
It's probably their buddies. Yeah, it's probably their buddies.
I hope it's their buddies. I don't want anybody to be in danger.
Yeah.
From the killer clowns, right?
From outer space?
From outer space. You've seen that movie, right?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
The cotton candy pods.
What are you going to do with them pies, boys?
The best part, in my opinion, is the shadow puppets.
Shadow puppets are great.
Shadow puppets.
That's a great scene.
The popcorn.
Hands down.
Popcorn in the hamper.
When the guy's got regular puppets on his hands and then they've got laser guns in them. And that's I love that movie.
Yeah, it's fun. The
Flick.
Kyoto Brothers.
The Kyoto Brothers.
Kyoto Brothers. That's who made,
they
made that.
Made it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I thought you were talking about the guys in the ice cream truck. That's the Fratelli Brothers or something.
The Fratelli Brothers.
No, that's the ghosts from
that's the guys from Goonies.
Ghostbusters 2. That's the guys from Goonies. Who are the ghosts from Ghostbusters 2 in the courtroom?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Something Italian.
Sure.
Scolari Brothers.
Scolari, that's right.
Wow.
Absolutely.
We know our Italian brother duos in movies. Should we talk about MASH?
I guess we could. We could talk about MASH. MASH. Robert Altman directed this film.
Starring Donald Sutherland, Elliot Gould,
Sally Kellerman,
the Hidden Valley Ranch lady.
Yeah.
Enjoy Hidden Valley Ranch. I'm Sally Kellerman.
You
put it on your
I'm
salad.
Lost now. Robert Duvall.
Radar. I can never remember Radar's real
Gary
name.
Berghoff.
Gary Berghoff. Do you think that guy is just still swimming in money?
Probably.
I mean, MASH was on. It's probably still on in syndication somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
And he was in the movie and the whole entire series.
All 9 seasons or whatever.
Way to go, Radar. Radar, if you're listening, I need to borrow about $10,000.
So Elliot Gould. Who was Duke? Who played Duke? That was
Was that Tom Skerritt?
Tom Skerritt.
Yeah.
A mustacheless.
Exactly. That's
Tom
why we have a hard
Skerritt.
time remembering it's Tom Skerritt because he ain't got that stash, baby.
Yeah. That's a good cast.
Yeah.
Great director. Good writing. It was
movie.
nominated.
Would not play today, but a very funny
I don't
movie.
know that that's true. I think it might. When you look at a movie that like somebody like the Coen brothers might make, where they might make a satire on race.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You know, like.
Yeah, I don't remember that getting all that racist though, except for the Klan scene. But you know.
Yeah, except for the big racist scene with
Well,
KKK
right,
people.
but I mean that was making.
But it's a comedy,
line of,
right?
Like, here's the good guys, here's the bad guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
this movie was kind of just Hawkeye and Trapper John and Duke just literally just breaking everybody's balls about race and gender. And I have to wonder if MASH would work today with that much just nonstop offensive material.
I think it can. I think it would be written a little bit differently, but I think the concept definitely would work today.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to see the adventures of wartime, field doctors. Basically.
I'm telling you, I think Coen Brothers can make this movie. I don't want them to. I don't want them to.
No, it doesn't need to be remade.
No.
And of course they could, but what I'm saying is, like, if this exact script showed up on somebody's desk and it was just sexism this, racism that, somebody would be like, "Ugh, we got to tone that stuff down."
No, well, if some schmo wrote a script like this, yes, I agree. If Ethan Coen or Joel Coen wrote that script, I think it would totally get made.
Interesting.
I absolutely. I think if Tarantino wrote that script, it would get made.
There's only one way to find out. Remake MASH.
No, I'm gonna pass
nobody
it up.
needs to. I need to blow my nose.
Oh no, he's gonna blow his nose right into the microphone.
Maybe I'll just wipe.
So, the movie was nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. It was nominated for editing, Best Director, Actress in a Supporting Role, Sally Kellerman.
Cool.
Nominated for Best Picture, and it won Best Screenplay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, adapted. What nowadays they call it adapted.
And it was an adapted screenplay back then.
Yeah, back then it was called based on material from another medium.
Oh, okay.
So
Was there MASH the book?
I don't know. Maybe it was a book or a play. I could see it being a play.
I could too, except for maybe the golf scene.
Except for maybe the golf. Well, you could hit
They could probably have done
golf balls off stage.
Yeah, use
into a curtain.
Wiffle balls. They got wiffle golf balls out there. Hit them into the audience with autographs on them. Keep that MASH golf ball, folks.
So tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. You didn't like the racism and the sexism.
There was tons of it. There was just so much. I mean, they literally at one point set up basically a viewing party to yank up the wall of the shower tent and let all the male doctors and female nurses get a view of whether or not Sally Kellerman, basically what her naked body looks like.
Did she dye her hair?
And she's pretty well traumatized. You
Yeah.
know, she's screaming. She's got shampoo in her eyes. She runs off naked, and that's just a little nutty. I mean, sure, that kind of stuff probably happened back then. Doesn't make it right.
Agreed. Well, and I think there's, I agree, and I'm not so sure the scene needs to play out necessarily the way it did.
Yeah.
But there is kind of an interesting thing in, like, you know, how they basically bully her into submission, and that's sort of the last straw for her, right?
Yeah.
Like, that happens, and then Hawkeye and Trapper John leave
they
for a
go
while.
to Japan.
They go to Japan.
Play some golf and, like, fix, what is it, like some
senator's kid.
Yeah, senator's kid who's sick with something.
When they come back, she is with Duke.
Oh, yeah.
And her mental state is completely different. You know, like, they have that whole thing where she's like the cheerleader, and she's kind of like ditzy and a little bit too boisterous.
Yeah.
And she's become one of them. And I think, you know, it's indicative of the idea that, like, military at its core is about for the people in there. And I'm not saying that this is true. I'm saying this is the mentality people have about it.
Yeah.
That it's bullying you to reshape you into who they want you to be.
There is that.
And that's like a big piece of this film is Hawkeye and Duke and Trapper John.
John? Yeah. Trapper John is Elliot Gould.
Reshaping this MASH unit from what the military has made it into what they think it should be. And so while I get what you're saying, and maybe you find it. I dropped my phone that's got my notes on it.
Oops.
Maybe you can do it a different way. And now Walt's freaking out. You know, for the concept of the story, it's needed. You have to have that some type of catalyst to demonstrate that, I think.
Okay.
So that's my take.
Good way of looking at it. Great way of looking at it.
But since you bring that up, I got a little trivia note here.
Let me hear it.
The first take of the shot where Hot Lips is revealed in the shower didn't work because Sally Kellerman anticipated the reveal and was already lying on the floor when the tent flap went up.
Oh.
To distract her, Robert Altman and Gary Berghoff entered the shower tent and dropped their trousers while the shot was rolling outside. While Kellerman was staring at them, the tent flap was raised, resulting in her genuine surprise and shock when she realized what had happened. In the special double disc DVD, they say that Radar is standing naked beside the camera, and that's the reason why Sally Kellerman looked so surprised when the flap was raised.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So Radar hung bread in order to get that response out of Sally Kellerman there.
That's a funny phrase.
Showed his loaf. Well, there you have it, folks. Surprising people with dong shots.
So what else did you like or not like?
I don't know. I mean, you know, it's a funny movie. It's I could have done without I got to say I'm saying I could have done without some of the emergency room gore, but really it wasn't even all that intense.
Wasn't that bad.
I'm just really not good with emergency room gore.
And it's that 70s like weird colored blood.
Yeah.
Too. It's not really quite right.
Yeah, but just for me, just the idea of knowing that, oh, those characters are standing around an open body and fiddling with its organs, like that is enough to just make me...
Yeah. Getting all those saws and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, talking about the different tools and having to cut through this and rinse out that and get a vacuum hose. And
I like that they refer to Trapper as a chest cutter.
The chest cutter. But yeah, I mean, you know, it was a cool movie to see. It's worth seeing. You know, it's definitely a really just eye-opening look into the kind of movies that were being made in the 70s. You know, there was that whole kind of anti-hero thing going on. Mm-hmm. Anti-hero. I like anti-hero.
I like anti-hero.
Either one.
Anti-hero. Yeah.
You know, shortly after watching MASH, I watched Taxi Driver on the big screen for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, very certainly not movies that you could say if you watch one, you don't need to see the other by any means. Mm-hmm. But they definitely are both in that anti-hero. This is the 70s. America's in some weird trouble right now, and these are the movies people want to see.
Right.
And I think that's an important thing to revisit.
Right.
If you take movies seriously, you can't just watch superheroes punching other superheroes in the face. You got to watch some stuff about real life.
Sure. I agree.
Even if it's satirized real life about the horrors of war medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the whole assisted suicide ruse.
That's a pretty funny scene.
Again, not a topic that like is one to joke about typically.
Yeah.
But in the movie for the viewsters, in the movie, they have their jawbreaker.
Right.
The dentist is known. He's well hung.
They know him for being extremely well hung.
His prowess in bed, and he was with a lady.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get it working.
Right.
And so he decided he must be gay.
Right.
And life isn't worth living if you're gay. Now, obviously,
attitudes on that have changed.
The absurdity of the sort of like homophobia,
right,
was immediately recognized by Hawkeye and his cohorts.
Yeah, I did like that.
Yeah.
The fact that these characters were just like, if you are gay, like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Big deal. You're still our buddy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that a lot. Especially, I mean, this was set during the Korean War.
Yeah.
When homophobia was just most people's mindset.
Yeah.
For crying
that was
out
normal.
loud.
Yeah, so they assist him with the black pill. Is that what it was? And so it's basically a drug, knocks him out, and they convince a young nurse who's about to be on her way home.
This is where I take issue with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure this character had mentioned that she's married, right?
But she's sleeping with Hawkeye.
She's sleeping with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
That's her choice. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hawkeye does this thing where he's just like, well, I can just pass you on to this dude. And when you see how big of a schlong he has, you're just going to want to hop right in there, aren't you? And that's pretty effed up, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Pretty effed up.
Yeah, I mean, she could say no.
She could absolutely
She could not do it.
She could not do it.
She chooses to do it. She chooses to be one of the guys.
Fair enough.
I get it. I understand what you're saying.
Weird mentality for Hawkeye, though, to just be like, hey, this girl I've been shacking up with since I got here, I'm just going to trick her into boning down with my homeboy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily a good representation of the era the film's supposed to really take place.
Yeah, definitely. That definitely seems a bit more of like a post-Vietnam free love.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It was the 70s, so when they made the film... so it probably is a bit more of the mentality, but I don't know. I wasn't in Korea.
Ladies, if you were a nurse in the Korean War,
let us know,
and you would have gotten down with a guy who you had been told was literally dying from poisoning himself on purpose, tweet at us. That's at VTRT Movies. If that's something you can attest would have happened.
Yeah,
attest? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Attest to? Yeah. So that's interesting. She ends up flying away in the helicopter, smiling.
Yeah,
I think she. The idea behind it was she was doing a good deed, right?
Right.
Saving this guy's life.
Yeah, because what did Hawkeye tell her? Like, if you just watch over him as he passes away, but he also sort of. He sort of conned her into thinking like, but maybe there's something more you could do to bring this man back from the almost dead, and she figured out what he meant. Talking about that schlong.
Yeah. So they do this really great shot just before the assisted suicide where you see through the tent walls.
Yeah.
And they're breaking bread, and it's like this really great Last Supper shot.
Right, yeah.
It's one of my favorite shots of the whole movie.
And then, the dentist is like, maybe I better lay down in the coffin before I take this, and that's just funny to me.
And then they sing to him. They sing the song.
Oh, yeah. They sing the MASH theme. Suicide is Painless by somebody.
Well, that's by somebody. The lyrics were written by Robert Altman's son, Mike Altman, who was only 14 years old at the time.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And so he wrote this song for the movie. Robert Altman got paid $75,000 for directing this film.
Wow.
Times have changed, right?
Times have changed.
I mean, in 1970, that was a lot more.
That's a good chunk.
It was $75,000 was a lot of money. But his son, who was only 14 at the time, got residuals on that song and continues to this day to get residuals on that song.
Wow.
And he's made over $2 million.
Just from the theme from MASH.
Just for writing the theme
That's
for MASH.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Just the lyrics.
Yeah. Wow. It does bring on many changes. That's pretty wild. So this 14-year-old kid wrote the theme to MASH. Huh. I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah.
I just don't. Walt is just as surprised. Got Walt the Chihuahua over here. He's surprised about.
Yeah.
Robert Altman. Eric, you said his first name was?
Mike
Altman, if you're listening, tweet us at VTRT Movies. Tell us about how you wrote that theme from MASH. I'm going to try to talk over all the noise happening in the hallway right now. I'm just going to keep talking into my microphone so that hopefully I drown out their noise. What you looking up, Wes?
Well, I was just looking at a couple other pieces of trivia here.
Cool.
The opening titles.
Yeah.
They bring the soldier in on the stretcher, and the guy trips and falls. It was an accident.
Oh.
They left it in because it was like foreshadowing.
It seems very realistic. But I did love the scene when they come back from Japan.
Yeah.
And like one helicopter lands with a injured soldier on it, and their helicopter lands with their golf bags on it. And if I'm not mistaken, more guys come to help them with their golf bags than run over to help the injured soldier. That's a little, unfortunately, telling of what was going on in the day.
So you're talking about the operating scenes?
Yeah.
So they were almost cut out because they were too graphic.
Really?
Yeah, and there were two women who were visiting the set. They told the producers that the operating scenes were what made the movie, and they should be kept in. And so they kept them in.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was, it was necessary to be like, hey, look how much fun these guys are having, but oh, wait, these guys are in charge of trying to save the lives of, the men and women of the U.S. military who are getting shot at and blown up and this, that, and the other thing in our conflict in Korea there.
Yeah.
Heaven help us.
Something else something else in the film that I'm a big fan of is all the broadcasts, not the music, but the
like the PA announcements.
The PA announcements. I really
those
like.
were always funny.
Yeah.
How there was always like tonight's entertainment will be blah 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 this and that, and then later for what. Okay. Oh, we're changing that? All right. Well, then later for you just get interrupted in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
And all the business with radar and the Colonel was always hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I was one step ahead always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that announcement thing where they're like exactly what you're saying. There'll be a movie. Tonight's movie is da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Secondary, the movie tent is closed for fumigation or whatever,
Yeah, like just whatever that guy was about to announce was about to get immediately kiboshed. And then my favorite gag in the movie was the final announcement. Should we get there already?
We can get there. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so the movie, they're wrapping up. The movie ends with a football game, which is a strange choice. And then at the end of it, you hear the announcer come over the PA and he goes, "Tonight's entertainment was MASH, starring Donald Sutherland, Elliot Gould, Sally Kellerman," and he just lists everybody it's starring. I'm pretty sure he mentions directed by Robert Altman.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's the closing credits.
And no more credits.
There's no roll. You don't see anything in print.
Nope.
Literally just the PA guy is going to say these few names and the movie's done.
Yeah.
That was a baller move right there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Real ball. I mean, last thing I sat through the credits on, I bet the credits were easily 10 to 15 minutes maybe.
Absolutely.
And this movie was just like, I'm going to read this list of names as part of the movie, and it's a funny joke, and it's over.
Yeah.
That was great.
There's a rumor that one of the announcements was a memo from Fox.
Oh, really?
Like it was like an absurd memo that Robert Altman was like, I guess they had nude pinups in the editing bay.
Oh, yeah?
And somebody had a problem with it, and Robert Altman was like, "Get out of here!" And
Nice.
So a memo came down that said, "No more pinups in the, on the property or whatever."
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what the memo was, but whatever it was, it ended up. So Robert Altman took it to the soundstage and recorded it as
that's funny.
as one of the memos.
That's real funny.
Yeah.
Give him hell, Altman.
Yeah, I mean, they supposedly a lot of that film is improvised, which is, definitely...
That makes sense.
Robert Altman was a proponent of that.
Yeah.
You see that a lot in his films. So, and with those actors and comedians, I mean, it's just... I'm not surprised at all.
Right. Yeah, it definitely was the right mix of people to just be like, okay, live this scene and let's just see what happens. Way to go, MASH.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I was just thinking about the Jeep, how the movie starts with
the Jeep gag's
Hawkeye
hilarious.
stealing the Jeep and then taking the Jeep away. At the end, they take the same Jeep.
Right.
There's the whole,
Did Hawkeye just steal that Jeep? No, sir. It's the one he came in with.
Yeah.
Yeah, stole him from the other colonel, I think it was.
Yeah. And Father Mulcahy blesses a Jeep at one point in the film. I think before they go to Japan, maybe?
That sounds correct.
I guess that was like an improv thing, too.
Oh, nice.
They were just like, oh, yeah, let's do this.
I would want my Jeep blessed if I were in a war zone. I would want everything blessed. Got nothing to lose by blessing Jeeps there. Is there any recently modern-ishly movie that is, that felt like maybe somebody else's attempt at making MASH? Does anything come to mind? I feel like there is, but I can't think of what it is.
Like a military comedy?
Maybe, or maybe even a medical comedy.
Not that comes to mind. I'm trying to think of military comedies. There's the one about the
In the Army Now with Pauly Shore.
the painting heist one, but that's nothing like MASH.
The painting heist one.
It's got like Matt Damon.
Monuments Men?
Monuments Men. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nothing like MASH, that's for sure. Monuments Men, I enjoy. I feel like they tried to sell it wrong. They tried to sell it to us as this is a war movie with a bunch of exciting action, and they just happen to be going after painting. When really it's a treasure hunt movie that happens to take place during war.
It's not even that good of a treasure hunt movie. It's okay.
I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun at the time, but
I enjoyed it. I like the
it's not a
scene
movie
when
I'll revisit.
I like the scene when the guy has to sneak into Belgium, and it's literally just a matter of climbing over a small rock wall somewhere in France.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Sneaking into Belgium, indeed. What you looking up, Wes?
I'm just checking to see if there's anything else that's really important.
Look up the phrase, tried too hard to be like MASH.
You try it. You do that.
All right, I'll look that up. What else is there to discuss with MASH? I feel like we've hit all the buttons, There's sexism, there's blackmail, there's golf, there's football, there's a shower assault.
You want to hear a burn towards the sun.
Oh.
The film's famous theme song was intended to be the stupidest song ever written. After attempting to write the lyrics himself, Altman said he found it too difficult to write dumb enough and instead gave the task to his 14-year-old son.
Wow.
He wrote the lyrics in 5 minutes.
Wow.
5 minutes for $2 million.
Hey, I'll take that gig. Through early morning fog I see. I sang this song on the last episode when we drew MASH from the Muppet
you
Bucket.
did do that.
Did I tell you about my singing audition the other day?
You didn't tell me about your singing audition. Tell me about it.
So I got an audition to be in a musical. I won't say what musical. We'll keep it all under wraps. But if I were to get the part, I'd get paid rehearsal, which is almost unheard of in this town. And then I'd get sent to a not too far away city to perform the musical for about a month and a half while getting paid the whole time and put up in a casino and getting to live there and having a fun time and being in a musical, and it'd be real fun. So I auditioned for, let's say, a much smaller role. I'm not much of a musicals guy. I've auditioned for maybe one other musical in my life, Rocky Horror Picture Show, right before I moved to L.A.
Mm-hmm.
Go in to audition for this small role. I sang You Took the Words Right Out of My Mouth by Meatloaf, because I don't really know that many musical songs. But I'm like, hey, I know this song, and it shows my range. So I'm doing this great big bombastic song for this kind of small character audition, and the guy behind the counter goes, I want you to come to the callback on Sunday, but when you come on Sunday, you're going to be reading for basically the male lead. And I was like, whoa, okay. Sounds all right by me. Now, Sunday has come and gone. Went to that audition. Haven't heard a peep. Probably not going to get it. That's okay. I'm not a musicals guy. I can live with it. But it felt good to get the offer for basically the male lead in this show, which I will not name on the air.
All right.
You can probably guess.
Well, I'm not gonna.
It was MASH the musical.
Oh,
no, it
sweet.
wasn't at all. It was something completely different. Oh boy,
James Garner was almost Hawkeye in this film.
really?
Mm-hmm.
James Garner as Hawkeye. What would that have been like? I don't have a very good James Garner impersonation. Otherwise, I'd try to impersonate James Garner as Hawkeye. Let me see what I can do. Oh, I'm Hawkeye. Look at me, I'm James Garner. Let me play Hawkeye, Robert. He's Australian, right?
No.
James Garner, star of Gladiator and
James Garner, as in like wasn't he in like
The Rockford Files?
He's not Australian.
and he was in Les Mis with Hugh Jackman.
Jennifer Garner. James Garner was in Les Mis with Hugh Jackman.
He played Russell Crowe.
He played Russell Crowe.
Yeah, you see what I did there.
Yeah, okay.
Should we talk about other movies? Have we exhausted MASH?
I mean, there's more things in here, you know.
I did. I was very. You know what scene in MASH made me sad was when the young Korean guy who was basically like their sort of gopher around their base, who was always making them martinis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When he, for whatever reason, had to like
Leave.
he had to like stay. They went on some little trip into the city, and some doctor there was like, "This boy needs to stay here and get."
They were drafting him for the
that's
Korean
what
army.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
so-
was sad.
Yeah, Korea was drafting him, and they tried to get him out of it, and they saw
Yeah.
through it. It was sad.
Real
He sort of
sad.
expected him to come back as like a victim.
I was worried that was going to
Yeah.
happen the whole rest of the time. I was like, "Oh no, is he going to come in as the stepped on a landmine, and now all these dudes who are his friends are going to have to work on him?" And
Yeah.
yeah, that was a scary little, barely mentioned subplot going through the movie there.
So as I go through these notes,
Yeah,
there's a lot of information about how like, you know, the studio wasn't behind the film and they gave Robert Altman a hard time and all this stuff. And here's a really good example. The accounting department claimed shooting was 4 days behind schedule on their second day.
wow, that's a bold claim.
Yeah.
4 days behind schedule on their second day. I mean, I suppose that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, you were supposed to have everything you did in day 1 and 2, you were supposed to have
Right.
done in 4 days. Or in half a day, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, how would
Math
that
is hard.
work?
Math is hard.
To be 4 days
They
behind
should
schedule on day
half
2.
a day's work in 2 days.
Yeah, half a day's work. That's exactly how it would have to work.
Oh, it's a book. It's a novel.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. MASH the novel.
So Frank Burns is a combination of 2 characters from the novel. I did see something else that I thought was interesting.
Which one was Burns? Was that their colonel?
Frank.
Oh,
the bad guy. Robert
Duvall.
Duvall.
Yes.
So MASH units
was
are no
very
longer
uptight.
used.
Oh no, they're not.
The last one was in 2006 in Pakistan.
How is that even possible? Do we?
They don't put pop-up hospitals in. They fly people to
I guess that makes sense.
out of the country. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
They have medics on site.
That makes
I don't know.
sense.
I'm just talking out of my butt.
I know. Well, thankfully, you and I live in a country where we didn't have to join the military, and
Well, we had to. We could have been drafted. We had to register.
could
for
have
the draft.
been. But fortunately, we live in a country where we were free to make the choice that we didn't have to join, and for that, I thank the men and women
Sure.
who did join.
Sure. Yeah.
I almost joined when I was 19. Fortunately, I was too heavy at the time, and then 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy to say I didn't have to go away to war when 9/11 happened.
Burt Reynolds almost joined this movie.
Really?
Yeah, he was going to be Trapper John.
Wow,
And,
that would have been cool.
Turned it down. I like Elliot Gould.
Burt
he was good in it.
Deliverance Reynolds as Trapper John, MD. That would have been pretty intense. Would he have had his mustache? Because
know.
He didn't have it in Deliverance, and I wonder if back then was he known for the mustache. There's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
You got to look up Burt Reynolds, 1970 or 69 or something.
James Caan also turned down the role.
James the Godfather Caan, huh?
Well, he wasn't the Godfather, but okay.
Well, he was in The Godfather. Who was he playing? Trapper John as well?
Yeah, he would have
been.
been Trapper John as well.
Interesting. James Caan. He'll mess you up, man. He'll mess you up, Jack. What about Burt Reynolds as Trapper John? Now, was Hawkeye always Donald Sutherland? Was anybody else ever in contention for Hawkeye there? Any news on that?
I'm sorry now? What was that?
Was Hawkeye always Donald Sutherland, or did anybody else almost get that part?
So far, I haven't seen another one other than James Garner.
James Garner, Australian treasure of the acting world, as Hawkeye Pierce. You tell me, man. You tell me. What if we haven't been recording this whole time?
We have.
Sweet.
We have.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop looking at these notes because it's just distracting.
It's distracting you.
It really is.
It's not a good sign when the notes aren't causing you to go, ooh, here's a new good note. That means those are some boring notes you got.
So much information in here, and
that's what you get with these 46-year-old movies. People just keep adding and adding and adding to the tedium.
Yeah, I know that they added a title card at the beginning of the movie that said Korea, so you knew where they were.
Made sense because they shot it in Malibu, and I've never been to Korea.
Probably not Malibu, right?
Well, I mean, that's where they shot the series.
Malibu State Creek
similar.
Park, not like Malibu, like.
Well, not the city of Malibu, the quote unquote city of Malibu. But yeah, they shot it in the mountains over there.
Yeah.
Korea.
Well, I don't know if they shot it there. I know that's where they shot the show.
That's where they shot the show.
I was just
and
there.
If you take a hike
recently.
up there, you can still find some of the MASH vehicles laying around.
Yeah.
You really can, yeah.
Yeah, I know, because I was just up there.
Yeah. Did you get a picture with the MASH vehicles?
I did.
Well, why haven't I seen it?
I don't know. There's a bunch of rusted Jeeps that hardly look like Jeeps anymore, but they have one ambulance that still exists, but people have, scratched their names into it and
jerks.
Written with permanent marker and stuff.
Man, everything's tagged in this town.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool. They have photos, little blocks of wood with photos from essentially the angle that you'd be looking at would be the camera angle of where the tents were, and you can kind of see oh yeah, look, that rock formation is still there. It's the same rock formation. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
I'll have to hike up there one of these days.
Yeah, it's like hour and a half, I think, to get to it.
Cool.
Unless you know the back way, which I know the back way now.
Way.
Yeah.
And it's a shortcut?
15-ish minutes.
Why?
Why?
Why don't most
Why was there a
people-
back way?
Yeah.
That's a really interesting question that you asked there.
I mean, why isn't that just the way if it's only 15 minutes?
Well, it's in a neighborhood.
Oh.
So you got to park in the neighborhood and then jump onto the trail and then know how to get there from there.
Uh-huh.
For the most part, stay to the right. Avoid the poison oak. There's a lot of poison oak.
Terrific.
The back way which is much shorter, is how they got the production vehicles in. So with all the lights and the camera equipment and things.
Cool.
However, the actors had to come in through the main way,
so
they I think they lobbied for golf carts or something to take them to and from set.
Pretty rad. I'm surprised they didn't just use those neat helicopters that they're always showing on that show.
Yeah, I don't think they flew those around very much.
They look like little dragonflies. Well, they look like gigantic dragonflies.
That back way was...
Oh, we got some sirens going on.
Little fire department going on outside.
That's always fun.
That back way was paved, and the remnants of the old road is there. It's all cracked and crumbled, and a lot of it's washed away. And, The sign is there, although I guess it's
Captain Ash.
a replica sign. You know, the sign that pointed to like
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're
Tallahassee and San
Yeah.
Francisco, and somebody stole a couple of the things.
talking about. What?
But it actually,
Come on.
burned down. The original caught fire. The set burned.
Oh.
And so they had to rewrite the finale of MASH to have the camp catch fire and burn.
Yeah.
And
Yikes.
and that's why.
Hearing a lot of screaming.
Yeah, you know,
Is that a kid
that's either a child or a
or an adult? who's-
angry bird.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Be careful out there, everybody.
Yeah,
That kid's probably a fan.
of Euster
Yeah.
or a fan of MASH.
Both.
All right.
To be one is to possibly be the other. Or
So
not.
let's move off of MASH.
Yes, let's.
Is there anything coming out that you're looking forward to?
Well, we
wanting to
discussed
see?
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I feel so out of touch on the movies lately. I just saw a trailer for. Well, gosh, I mean, Rogue One's coming out in, 2 months?
Yeah.
That's just crazy. The idea that, I mean, we're getting basically a Star Wars movie once a year for the next however many years, aren't we?
Yeah, for like, well,
Like, we're going to get Rogue
Han
One, a
Solo
Star
is
Wars story.
after
Episode
right?
8, Han Solo. Episode 9,
Boba Fett.
something else.
Boba Fett or Yoda, I
Episode
think,
10,
right?
something else. They're just going to keep giving us Star Wars. I almost can't believe it. I tell you, are you watching Star Wars Rebels, the series?
I do not.
I don't watch it either. My roommate's always bugging me to watch it. I'm like, I got enough reasons to be looking at screens and sitting in chairs. I gotta be mindful of that. But the other day I was looking through the DVDs over at Target.
Mm-hmm.
There was a DVD for like Star Wars Rebels Season 1 on sale or whatever. And the main character, the young kid character, was using a light slingshot. And I was a little saddened by that.
Yeah.
Like, lightsaber, really cool weapon. Awesome weapon. It's a sword made out of laser beam. Awesome.
Yeah.
The saber with the cross coming out of it, I get it. It looks neat, but it's a really good way to just chop your own hand off or stab yourself in the torso or leg. Not thrilled by it. But to have what is essentially a slingshot with light as the rubber band for a light slingshot, that just made me kind of like, ugh, they are reaching for different light sabery weapons to use on this show here. I don't know. It just made me want to maybe sit down and write a letter. But what good would it do?
None.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got The Accountant.
The Accountant,
Coming
starring Ben Affleck. Now, The Accountant. They make it pretty clear he's autistic. They also make it pretty clear he's a total bad.
Is he autistic? Does he have Asperger's? I'm unclear.
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
But I want to know, do you think this is Affleck going after his Jason Bourne?
I don't know.
Just wondering.
I don't think he cares.
Just throwing that idea out there.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Then we got Jack Reacher.
Jack
We
Reacher
got-
2.
I'm very excited for that one.
Jack Reacher 2, still reaching.
Still
You thought
reaching.
I was going to say still jacking.
No, I was gonna say still reaching.
Still reaching.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really called that. Probably not. I don't think anybody would name a movie that. I hope Jack Reacher 2 was good. Jack Reacher 1 was entertaining. And
Yeah, I feel like they're showing too much
exciting.
actiony stuff in the trailers. and
Welcome to
commercials.
every trailer for the last 5 years, my friend.
This is why I don't watch trailers anymore.
I just saw some new trailer the other day. I've blocked it from my mind because I was like, I never need to watch that movie. That trailer showed absolutely every little twist and turn of the plot, and now I don't need to see it. Made me sad. Oh, I saw the new Power Rangers trailer.
Yeah, Desi wants to see that.
Looks kind of good.
I don't think so.
But the Power Rangers were never good to begin with.
Elizabeth Banks looks cool in it.
She looks awesome in it.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, to make a good Power Rangers movie can't be that hard because
I'll have to
it
go
wasn't
see it.
a good show. It was entertaining. It wasn't good. It was just, there's the monster. Let's fight it. It's bigger now. Let's get bigger.
Ouija.
I try not to even talk about Ouija's.
Origin of Evil. Have you seen the commercial with the little girl talking to the boyfriend?
Oh, for the new Ouija movie?
Yeah. That's a good.
I try not to pay any attention to Ouija stuff.
Yeah, you're afraid of it.
Bad stories.
Bad
my
juju.
man. Bad stories about Ouija stuff. Something happened in the Power Rangers trailer
Yeah.
that's been happening in a lot of trailers lately.
Okay.
And it's driving me insane.
Welcome to Trailer Corner.
Exactly. That is, a lot of these trailers, especially a lot of the for the movies that are aimed at the young adult audience,
Yeah.
they're doing this thing where they take an old song and they have it covered by somebody trying to sound like Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they
She
just do
covered
like
that song in the Hunger Games.
exactly. And now
Yeah.
this movie has a girl trying to sound like Lord doing a really slow, super boring cover of Johnny Cash's Walk the Line.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense with the trailer at all.
But they're rebels, so they're going to walk that line between being rebels and being good guys. I don't
No.
know. I'm just stretching.
You're
here.
really Jack reaching too.
I'm Jack reaching too.
But
That's got to be a new phrase for
but,
us.
yeah.
Jack reaching too.
you're really Jack reaching too. But I feel like every trailer I see that's aimed at the young adult audience has this moment, and it's usually always right at the beginning of the trailer where they go, get a cover song that sounds like it's being sung by Lord, and just slap that on the first 40 seconds of the trailer.
Yeah.
And do kids want that at all? Like, who cares? Who wants that?
Well, because okay,
Sounds
I'll tell
like garbage.
because they're not doing that for kids; they're doing it for adults.
I guess so, but
That movie's not made for kids. That movie's made for people who were kids when that was out.
yeah, but Power Rangers, I mean, there's still a Power Ranger series going
It's not made for them.
of some ilk.
It's not made for those kids these days.
Either way, look at I don't know, look at I feel like every trailer has the wannabe Lord singing an old cover song that doesn't fit at all, but there it is. Drives me up the wall.
Are you familiar with the Gregory Brothers?
The Gregory Brothers. It's ringing a bell.
Schmo Yoho. They did like Auto-Tune the News. That's
Oh,
what they got
yes,
famous
okay.
for. They did. They've done a couple of videos where they change the key, so they do sad happy songs and happy sad songs.
Okay.
So if it's a sad song, it's in a minor key, and they change it to a major. And if it's
Yeah.
a happy song, it's in a major key, they change it to a minor, and they do them in a different style than they originally intended.
That sounds funny.
Yeah, and so there's like some really, like, I'm Never Gonna Give You Up is like creepy and
What, by
scary.
Rick Astley?
Yeah.
Funny.
It's pretty funny. And they did videos for them and stuff, and they did like Uptown Funk sounds very like
They
religious.
did a melancholy
and,
version of Uptown
Yeah.
Funk. Wow.
Yeah. So some good stuff.
I'll look up some of those.
Check that out. All right, so since we're mixing things up now, let's talk about movies that are coming out. We mentioned a few. Let's focus on stuff just in October right now.
All right, you've got some sort of list in front of you.
I
Let
do.
me hear it.
I'm looking at. This is not necessarily the most intricate list or the complete list necessarily. Let's see what we got here. Max Steel,
Max
based on
Steel.
a children's show, I believe. I hear it's better than you think it would be.
Oh, that's cool.
Doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah, this is the one about a teenager gets this robot that can turn him into a superhero, huh?
Sure.
It's like the Guyver for teens.
Sure.
Max Steel. Keep going.
The Accountant we talked about. Kevin Hart, What Now? Movie mixed with his stand-up.
Oh,
Kind of a cool idea.
I'll check that out. I like Kevin Hart.
I do too. There's a few of them. But I'm going to skip most of the like little indie things that I don't know anything about.
Well, don't skip all of them.
No, I won't skip all of them, but if I don't know anything about them, I mean, Jack Goes Home. You know anything about that?
Haven't heard about it.
Priceless. You know anything about that?
No.
The Handmaiden. You know anything about that?
I keep.
Do you want me to skip
seeing-
some of these, or
People keep posting the trailer for The Handmaiden,
Yeah.
and I watched it, and it looks like it's going to be pretty intense. But I also don't think I'll ever bother watching the whole movie.
so October 21st, we got Jack Reacher 2,
Yeah,
Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Keeping
Don't go see that, guys.
Up with the Joneses.
Don't do it.
Who's in that? Oh, Zach Galifianakis and
Yeah.
John Hamm.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the trailer for it, but just the fact that those two guys are in it, I want to see it. I want to see Keeping Up with the Joneses. Zach G and John Hamm.
Gal Gadot. I mean, I don't know.
Gal Gadot, you say that like she's not worth watching. She's Gal Gadot, sir.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, dude. She's going to be She's already Wonder
If you
Woman.
had a choice between Jack Reacher 2, if you were recommending somebody go see a movie this weekend.
Right, Jack Reacher 2, still reaching for it.
Yep. Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Or
Tyler Perry's Boo.
Or
Ouija.
No, definitely not.
And then a bunch of indie films. Although I'm going to recommend one. So if you're not going to go see Jack Reacher, go see The Pickle Recipe.
The Pickle Recipe.
Go see little indie film
called The Pickle Recipe.
Yep. It's got one of our favorites.
Who?
David Paymer.
Cool.
It's about this guy who teams up with his uncle to steal his grandmother's secret pickle recipe so he can replace his MC equipment.
So
you can...
Keeping Up with the Joneses.
No, I'm going to vote Pickle Recipe. It got a pretty good response from film festivals.
All right.
So I think if you weren't going to go see Jack Reacher, my pick is The Pickle Recipe. I don't think it'll blow your mind, but I think it will be a nice, happy, and funny.
But you haven't seen it yet.
I have not seen it.
Okay.
I also have not seen Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher 2. Still reaching for the stars.
Yep.
I'm going to sit in this table, and then that phone's going to ring, and then I'm going to arrest you.
Then there is, at the end of the month, Inferno.
Inferno.
It's really the only big release right at the end of the month.
I feel like I've seen the trailer for Inferno, and right now I can't think.
It's the Dan Brown, Tom Hanks.
Oh, a new Dr. Da Vinci Code guy.
Dr. Da Vinci Code. That is correct.
Yeah. What is his character's name?
Who? Tom Hanks' character?
Yeah.
Robert Langdon?
Langdon, that's it.
Dr. Langdon, I presume?
Yeah. Okay. I like Tom Hanks. I like Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Ron
Howard's a little rusty these days.
I still like him.
Yeah, I do too.
He's still a wonderful person.
Yeah.
I read the prequel.
I thought In the Heart of the Sea was actually not that bad.
I still did not watch that.
It's incredibly slow, and it's not at all what they marketed. I think if people knew going into it that it was a drama and there was not that much action, but they were like, the movie's like, whale attacking boats. Yeah, hey, guess what? Whales are going to attack boats. It's not.
The trailers made it look like it was just going to be a thrill ride.
It is a lot of talking.
Whole lot of talking, not a whole lot of attacking. Is that what you're telling me?
Correct.
Maybe I'll check it out. I tell you, I watched, what was it called? Our Finest Hours. Chris Pine and the early Coast Guard
my
adventure
friend
there?
Abraham Ben Ruby. He plays the cook. Sit down, you're rocking the boat.
I think
he sings. He sings throughout the whole movie.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I don't want to say too much else.
That makes sense. Pretty cool movie. Very
slow.
Very depressing.
And slow too, right? Because
I don't even remember if it felt slow.
It's a lot of waiting to get to the moment.
There is a lot of that, and just the whole movie seems to just take place in the dark. Like no matter what,
it's cold, dark and cold.
It's just so dark and cold, and I was like, I like cold and sunny movies, or I like cold and sometimes dark, sometimes sunny. But it was just always dark and cold.
And could you imagine having to do that? You know, dark and cold and wet, and probably soon to be dead
for however many weeks on set there. And if I'm not mistaken, was Ben Foster also in that?
Ben Foster, Casey Affleck was in it.
Casey Affleck was in it.
Was he Casey Affleck's friend on the boat? Ben Foster?
I think so, or maybe he was Chris Pine's friend. But I think Ben Foster, because those guys are in Hell or High Water right now, which everybody should go see.
Well, we've talked about Ben Foster a lot on the podcast a bit. I mean,
Ben Foster does great work.
And Daniel and I have talked about Ben Foster on the podcast as well. Ben Foster.
See if he's also in Our Finest Hours. But yes,
he's in Inferno.
He's in Inferno. Well, that's good to know.
Well, they show him in the trailer, and they show what happens to him in the trailer.
Oh, see? Trailers! Anybody out there, if you're in charge of deciding what goes into the trailers,
Warcraft,
less is more.
The Finest Hours. He is in it.
So he and Chris Pine team up in that and in Hell or High Water.
Lone Survivor, Kill Your Darlings, Ain't Them Body Saints.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and Hell or High Water is playing near you, see it.
Rampart. If you have not seen The Messenger, that is the movie to go, all right, I'm in for this Ben Foster guy.
The Messenger.
The Messenger. Woody Harrelson and Ben Foster, and they play I'm trying to remember.
Is that when they have to go around and inform people
Yeah.
of that their enlisted family member has passed
has
and
died.
Yeah,
You're now a widow.
Oh God,
It is. It's a great film. Have you seen it? You haven't seen it, have you? Just the way you're reacting, I feel like you haven't seen it because you don't want to watch it because it's
I
depressing.
think when it was coming out, I was like, "That looks great," but
It's
don't
really
have
good.
time to be that sad.
It's not as depressing as you think it's going to be.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember thinking that looks really good, but
It's very hopeful.
sad.
It's actually a very hopeful kind of film. It's very moving, and he is. I mean, Woody Harrelson's great too, but he's
Sure.
great in just about everything.
yeah,
But Ben Foster is fantastic in the film. He's really the lead of the film.
cool. The Messenger.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Should we draw from the Muppet bucket? Do we have more movies to discuss?
Let's draw. I go find the bucket.
Find the bucket. I
It's
will
on
keep
top of a
vamping.
shelf.
Hey, everybody. You're listening to the View the Right Thing special segment with Steve and Walt the Sleeping Dog.
So we've got a theatrical thing going on, theatrical releases. We got a trailer thing now in our podcast. I think we all of you said I have to refine it, but
Hey, man. Refining is what movies is all about.
all right.
Oh, yeah. I watched Yoga Hosers the other night.
Oh, I really want to see it. I mean, I hear it's not that good, but I really want to see it anyways.
Fair enough.
Is it good? Do you like it? Did you enjoy it?
I like Kevin Smith's stuff. There's a lot of talk that this movie was very, very much targeted at teenage girls, and I can see that being true. But I had some really good laughs here and there. And I'm interested to see Moose Jaws. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna draw the first one. I just say you draw.
Yeah, you always make me draw. Do you want me to hold while you draw?
No, I got it.
Don't spill that bucket.
Crook of my arm.
So that is the October bucket?
That's the October
one
bucket.
There better be some good horror movies in there, man.
Oh, I like this. I don't think you saw this one. Pontypool.
I haven't seen that one. You and Desi have mentioned that a lot.
I really like this movie.
I don't understand the title.
You will when you see the movie.
All right.
So second one.
I'm digging deep. Digging real deep. Oh, man. I'm getting down in there. Wait for it. I'm afraid to read it.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to read it at all. April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day. Oh, I like that one a
Haven't
lot.
there been several horror movies called April
Maybe,
Fool's Day?
but we're gonna watch the 80s. the 80s April Fool's Day. One of my favorite Halloween films. I just don't want to say anything about it.
Okay.
We'll join. I think her name is Muffy St. Clair,
That's the character.
and the rest of the rich kids on the island.
All right.
Shortly. That's exciting. I'm really excited about it.
So we're going to watch Pontypool and April Fool's Day. There's a bit of a rhyming scheme going on in there.
Pontypool, April Fool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Interesting.
I'm excited. This is a good duo. Very,
Yeah.
very, very, very different films, but both unique for what they are. Like they both have a nice spin
Okay.
on the genre of film that they fall into.
That's very good to know. As long as I never have to sit through Pieces ever again in my life.
Nope.
Did you watch Pieces?
Nope.
Never do.
Okay.
Old horror movie. Tries to be Dario Argento.
Oh, I like Argento.
A man gets his wiener squeezed to the point of exploding. Lots and lots of bad ideas at work in
Sounds
Pieces.
unfortunate. Well, I think that
That wraps up MASH.
wraps up MASH and our theatrical talk. Steve and I will try and go see a movie together if we can.
We'll give it a try. And should we pledge to get both episodes for each of these movies in before Halloween?
I was thinking we do a double episode,
Okay.
so then we can just get one more, because I don't think we're going to get more than one episode recorded before Halloween.
What?
It's the 12th or 11th already.
Today's
It's
the 11th. We got 20 days to record 2 episodes. That's not insane.
Well, I mean, don't push me, because I'll start talking crazy. I'll start talking 4 movies.
I was born talking crazy.
All right, you heard it here. Steve wants to do 4 movies, 2 episodes before Halloween.
Yeah. Let's do
No, really?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to do Pontypool and April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
We'll get that out hopefully in about a week.
All right.
And then we'll draw 2 more horror films and get another one out. We're gonna be busy, my friend.
We will, but we'll make it happen.
I love it.
It's
I like,
October, man.
You know what? I love Steve's can-do attitude.
It's October, baby. Oh, I'm getting a tweet.
Ooh, tweety.
It's about our show.
What? Somebody retweet your tweet about our show?
We got a favorite from my last tweet about the show.
Yeah? Who favorited us? We'll
Shout
give him a
out to... Oh, it's a new follower of mine. His name is Jeff. I'm going to guess his last name is pronounced Hukal, maybe Haukel. I'm not sure.
What's his Twitter handle? Maybe people could follow Jeff.
Twitter handle is at Jeff, Jeff, Houkal. Shout out to Jeff, my new follower. Already liking tweets. I love to hear it, Jeff. Thanks for your support.
Where can people find you, Steve?
I am at Steve in No Howood on Twitter and on Instagram. You, Wes, are at
Movie Hippo.
Movie Hippo, and we are both at
VTRT Movies.
VTRT Movies for View the Right Thing.
That's Instagram and Twitter.
We got it on lockdown.
And we have a Facebook page that you can like.
Oh, yeah.
The Facebook page tends to get information a bit faster than
that's good.
else. Yeah. I try to do the Instagram thing. It depends. Like I usually try to do a little, like kind of like a meme, a photo from the film with like a line of dialogue. I usually try to do that on Instagram, and then I share it to Facebook as well.
I like that.
People seem to like the posts better when there's visuals.
Yeah, for
if it's
sure.
just words, they just ignore it.
This is sad but true.
Yeah.
You know what's sad but true.
Yeah,
Metallica's going to sue me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Help yourself to my dollar, Metallica. To my $1.
Well,
you guys.
We're going to go give Metallica some money. And
they've got enough of my money.
We will see or talk to you soon.
Everybody, watch some movies.
Pontypool.
Spend some time with people that you like and watch movies that you like.
Pontypool and April Fool's Day.
Watch Pontypool, watch April Fool's Day, and our next episode will be about both.
All right, everybody. See you next time.
Say it.
Bon Cinema.
Yeah.